In previous videos, we've talked about the demolition of buildings and how most of that material ends up in a landfill. We've also talked about the deconstruction of the Syriza house and how the majority of those materials don't end up in the landfill. But how do we know? How do we know that they're actually being reused? How do we know that we're actually doing a good thing for the planet? Well, we use a program called Green Halo, and Green Halo tracks all of those materials and where they end up. So today we're going to go through our Green Halo checklist, and we're going to make sure that what we're doing is the right way to do it. Let's get into it. So we've talked about recycling. We've talked about the deconstruction of the Syriza project. So what does that all mean? Why do we actually do deconstruction? Well, if we look at this page right here, we can actually see that these are a report from the waste company that actually tracks deconstruction and demolition debris, and where you take that debris by collecting what are called tags or the delivery receipts for all the debris that comes from that deconstruction. And they deliver it to different places that then can use that material for different things or deliver it to different facilities. So if we look at this, we see that the giant scope of this includes this Stevens Creek Quarry, Sunnyvale, which includes 82 tons of material. So this is out of a total tonnage right here, and then this ton. So just over 100, say 110 tons for the entire project. We got about 82 tons went to this quarry. Now, what does a quarry do, and what is the 82 tons? Well, it happens to be concrete. So what's interesting about concrete is that concrete is one of the highest carbon dioxide producing global warming materials in the planet. In fact, it counts for between 3 and 7% of all carbon dioxide production in the world. And concrete is the most used material in the world. What's great about concrete is even though it does produce a tremendous amount of carbon dioxide when you produce it, you can actually recycle it. And interestingly, concrete is almost 100% recycled. Now, they don't recycle it to make new concrete. They recycle it to make things like base rock, which is the rock you put on the roadways and under asphalt. They can recycle it to use for aggregate to make new concrete. So it actually is very, very recyclable and therefore easy for us to get rid of and to make sure that it doesn't go into a landfill. The next section, if you see it up here, is 0.02 tons of steel or metal that goes to Schnitzer Steel, which is a steel recycling facility. Then we have Zanker Material Facility Processing Facility. So this is a lot of the mixed goods. It's things like asphalt shingles, which can go into asphalt roads. It's wood that can go into, if it's not a good condition and can't be reused as actual studs for walls, it can go into things like garden mulch or other sources of wood products. And then Zanker Road Landfill is an actual landfill, and this is the stuff that actually goes into the ground. So actually goes into a landfill and doesn't get reused, doesn't get recycled, doesn't get repurposed. And lastly, the Reuse People, which is a nonprofit that takes used building materials and basically sells them again. And the sale price of that material goes to supporting that organization. And because it's a nonprofit, the materials that we donate to it go to a tax deductible essentially donation to a nonprofit. So similar to donating money to the Red Cross or the March of Dimes or something like that, we get credit, or I should say our clients get credit for that recycling. Now that's great because all that material is at a much lower price than the new material would be. And people who maybe can't afford the new material or just love the idea of recycling can go and buy that material from that organization, supporting that organization, and then they can take that material and use it for whatever they want to do. So when we look at these tags, now, how does this organization, this is a company called Green Halo, and Green Halo takes all the tags from all the places that we deposit the material, then it organizes it and puts it into this graph so that then we can take this piece of paper and submit it to the cities and show that we're actually diverting all of this material. Instead of taking it to a landfill, we're diverting all this material, keeping the landfills from getting filled up with what could actually be reusable material, and saving the client a lot of money and saving the planet a lot of essentially waste space. So I don't know if you saw it at the bottom of the screen, but how do we do? How did the deconstruction of Syriza change the effect we had on the planet? Well, we recycled and demolished about 110 tons of material, of which 11 tons went into a landfill, and about 100 tons got recycled or reused, for a recycling rate of 91%. I'd say that's a pretty good impact on not harming the planet. If you're interested in learning more about building science or about any of our other projects, please hit subscribe as we show you how to build a better way.